Larry Hausner here, the author of Save Baseball, a prescription for the major leagues. You can pick up my book anywhere online, such as Amazon. Order yourself a copy today. So the Dodgers signed Blake Snell, and as soon as it was announced, I heard the whining. The whining began. So let's think about this for a moment. The Dodgers were in the market this offseason, focused and focusing on addressing their priority, adding an ace to their starting rotation. Well, they got him. Lefty Blake Snell agreed to a 5-year, $182 million deal with the world champs, as numerous sources reported. A little background on Snell, if you're not super familiar with him. He's a two-time Cy Young Award winner, and his 11.2 career strikeouts per 9 innings, that's the highest in Major League Baseball history. And he also has valuable postseason experience as well, which we've seen is critical, super important, especially for the Dodgers. So as a result, he was one of the most sought after free agent pitchers on the market this offseason. Interestingly, the Dodgers had previously pursued Snell last season before he signed with the Giants late in spring training. Reports also suggested they were speaking with the Giants about Snell prior to the trade deadline, but obviously that didn't happen. And boy, could you blame the Giants? They're certainly not going to be wanting to help out the Dodgers and support their number one and hated rival. As I said in a previous video, Snell's 2024 season got off to a bumpy start as he missed most of spring training and he lacked being in what I would call game shape, and it showed. Early on, he struggled, posting a 9.51 ERA in his first 6 starts. He also made a couple of trips to the injured list, and it looked like as though this season for Snell was going to be a disaster. However, the lefty turned it around, and in the second half of 2024, the guy was nearly unhittable. He threw a no-hitter on August 2nd, and in his last 14 starts, his ERA was an insane 1.23. You might recall that I often talk about the relationship piece and how that could be a tipping point where free agents decide where to sign. Well, that might be the case here, as Snell is now reunited with Dodgers president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman, who was the executive vice president of baseball operations for the Rays when Tampa Bay drafted Snell in the first round back in 2011. So let's get back to this whining business I mentioned early on here. So Snell, his deal includes a massive $52 million signing bonus and also deferred money, a lot of it. And that's something that's become common throughout the game, especially with the team in LA. Remember Ohtani's deal from last season? Of course we do. So the $52 million signing bonus, Snell's actual annual salary will be just over $13 million per year for the life of the contract. Now their rotation is stacked. So the whiners are saying, hey, this is bad for baseball. Many fans think so. They're outraged by it. But I say no. I disagree. I think it should give hope to more teams than ever before to sign top free agents. So any team in baseball could have afforded to make that deal with Snell using that creative funding model of deferring monies once the player retires. That funding model provides teams the financial flexibility to continue to improve their current roster while chasing top stars. Again, the complainers are fans whose teams are either too cheap or too scared to follow suit. Some of those fans are griping that the Dodgers are becoming the Yankees. Well, as we've seen, that's not such a great franchise to aspire to, at least not recently. And while they finally did make it to the World Series in 2024, they hadn't made it since guess when? 2009. Yeah, 15 years ago. And seemingly since then, weren't they always the ones whose payroll was at the top or at the top as they gobbled up free agents year after year? I think it goes to show that money doesn't necessarily buy championships in baseball. So kudos to the Dodgers, but they did come within a whisker from being bounced early in the playoffs, right? Remember the Padres and their great run? And if their bats hadn't gone silent, the Dodgers would have watched the World Series from home. And while I'm not a Dodger fan, don't blame them because I don't for the signing of Blake Snell and others like it. Other MLB contenders could have done the same thing. They could have signed Snell to a similar contract, deferring money. Those teams, your team maybe, should look themselves in the mirror and decide if they want to be in the club or out of the club. The choice is theirs. It makes sense to consider that creative funding model. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please share them. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Until next time, for the love of the game, I'm Larry Hausner.